Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ultimate Channel CK. I am Dr. Lewis Muchile. Again, I want to appreciate your support. We've seen your effort to help us grow, and we'll also put in more effort to at least create more content for you. So today I want to talk about what happens when you really fast. So every time we keep preaching about fasting and autophagy marathons, prolonged and periodic fasting and intermittent fasting. So basically today I'm going to shed light on what really happens from 0 hours straight to 48 hours. I will also touch on the 72 hours just a little bit, because that's where most of us start to get the dizziness and all this, and you start to give up. So yeah, sit back and enjoy the video. Again, remember we always engage in fasting every after 2 weeks, 48-hour fasts, which are long fasts. And yeah, we want to burn fat and to live healthy living, okay? So, what really happens from 0 hours, 12, 18, and 24? Number one, at 0 hours, you just ate. So the food is still in your stomach. You're producing all these hydrochloric acid and gastric juices to help you digest and absorb this food. So basically, you still have food in your stomach. Now, 0 to 8 hours, when you prolong your fast from 0 to 8 hours, or when you separate a meal, you separate between 2 meals and give a gap of 8 hours. Number one, your stomach gets involved in digestion and absorption of that food, breakdown of protein, absorption of carbohydrates, absorption of that protein to help you maintain your energy levels and muscular function. Now, number two, at 8 hours, okay, you start to clean up. Now remember, digestion and absorption takes 2 to 3 hours and the process is done. So at around 8 hours, your stomach starts to clean up. Now it's like a room, you've used a room, and then you clear it up. So the stomach gets involved in clean up again, for that matter. Then number three, after these 8 hours, once you start to head from 8 to 24 hours, now your stomach shuts down, it shuts off. That makes it difficult for you to even digest and absorb any other food, apart from water, because for prolonged fasting, we encourage saline water because of avoiding dehydration and kidney problems, and getting into dizziness and muscle cramps because of low sodium and potassium levels. So basically that is 0 to 12 hours. 18 hours, rather 12 hours, what happens? There is a shoot in the growth hormone. Okay? So there are so many functions of the growth hormone in the body. And that's why I encourage people, when you do fasting exercises, you get maximum utilization of fat and maximum protein development and growth and muscle growth. So for those of you who want to get to build up muscles, first of all, you have to fast. Some of you think when you fast, you break down protein. It's not true. When you fast, you build up protein. Why? Because you shoot your growth hormone levels. And growth hormone levels, growth hormone is a hormone that is helps you. It's a fat burning hormone. So it burns your fat. It helps you reduce aging, and again, it inhibits you from the body thinking that the only source of energy is carbohydrates. Okay. Then again, at these 12 hours, we start experiencing muscle healing. We start experiencing joint and inflammation healing. So that starts at 12 hours. But again, this becomes more profound at 18 hours and above. Okay? So now, remember also growth hormone is still a protein synthesis hormone. Okay? So if you want to bulge, a muscle bulge due to tension and pumping in of proteins. So at 18 hours, now, this is where we start a process called autophagy. Now, autophagy means that the body turns to cellular components that are non-functional, like organelles that are wasted, are dead, and all these cellular proteins that are idle or that have been destroyed, but they are not exiting the cell. So the body turns to these organelles and starts turning them into energy. And therefore, at this moment in time, you start subsiding your cravings. So no more cravings for that matter. So at this moment in time, no cravings, appetite starts going down. Why? Because you've now started burning fat. And even at 18 hours, your liver starts regenerating. Why? Because if you have a fatty liver, or if you have a pot belly, that fat is now being utilized to turn into ketone bodies. And ketone bodies, you said, they are the best sources of energy for the brain and the body. The body likes ketones. The body does not like glucose. Even though all foods at the end of the day, they'll be turned into glucose. But fat is converted into ketones. And these ketones are the best energy sources of the brain. Again, there's a protein in the brain that is called amyloid. This is a destructive protein. Okay? So since it's a destructive protein, that means it kills your brain cells. Now, autophagy works on this protein and just clears it out. It's amazing how this happens, because it clears it out, and at the end of the video, we'll talk about something called BDNF. This is a factor that rejuvenates brain cells after prolonged fasting. So that is 18 hours. Okay? Now, 24 hours. At 24 hours, we have muscle repair. Remember, growth hormone has shot by 300%. So we have maximum levels of growth hormone. And this, we said, is a fat burning hormone. So you're burning literally all the fat in your body, you're producing good ketones, and you're losing weight, and you feel there's no mental focus, there's clarity of purpose, and you start enjoying it. Because at 24 hours, there's a little pressure. Okay? There becomes a little pressure, so sometimes you miss eating, so you start feeling cravings again. But taking salt water will clear those cravings. And again, if you don't take water, or salt water for that matter, you start experiencing muscle cramps. Okay, because of an increase in potassium. So you are supposed to take saline water to suppress those potassium levels, and again to maintain your blood pressure. So you start burning fat, you start burning the fatty liver, starts healing. Then all inflammation, those people who have inflammatory condition like arthritis, osteoarthritis, and even SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus, they start recovering. Even those who have acne, their skin starts becoming smooth because of all these destruction of these proteins in the cells. Now again, SIBO. So the gut starts to heal. Those people who have ulcers, at 24 hours and above, that's when you start healing your gut. That's when you start recovering from SIBO because of bacterial balance. Okay? Yeah, so those are benefits for 24-hour fasting. Okay? Now, as you prolong your fast, as you go towards 48 hours, this becomes a little tough, because again, it is not for the faint-hearted. Okay? And fasting, funny enough, is once you get to 24 to 48 hours, your oxygen levels increase, your ketones increase. And remember, we said, if your oxygen increases and your ketone bodies increases, that means you have two sources of power in the body that suppress growth of cancer cells. And that means cancer cells, we said, they cannot survive on oxygen, high levels of oxygen, and they cannot survive on ketones. They survive on glutamine and glucose. Now, at this moment in time, you don't have even glycogen in the liver. You don't even have glucose anywhere. So what you're doing is just burning fat and synthesizing proteins. Burning fat and synthesizing proteins. So that is good for you. So again, that is where, at 24 hours, that is where you get the BDNF. It's called the brain-derived neurotropic factor. That is a factor, or it's a factor that boosts or regenerates your brain cells. That means you can regenerate your IQ through fasting. So now at 72 hours, what basically happens is, there are most of us who will get dizziness. And this dizziness is because of totally zero fat burning, maximization of autophagy. So there's no more protein in the cells, waste protein in the cells to burn. There's no more glucose and glycogen. So now the body starts to turn to muscle. And that's why sometimes you only do periodic fasting, periodic 72-hour fasting, maybe a month, once in a month. But mostly 48-hour fast is enough for people who want to lose weight, who want to lose who want to shed obesity, and want to recover from chronic conditions like HIV, and boost their immunity, cancer, diabetes, and hypertension. So basically, is what's happened. What happened? At 48 hours also, remember, you have reversal of insulin resistance. We've talked about insulin resistance, and we said insulin resistance is the one that is responsible for metabolic syndrome, and the metabolic syndrome is the one that causes cancer, diabetes, hypertension, and all those inflammatory conditions, even GERD. So once you reverse this, then all those symptoms will reverse, because now you've reset your insulin, and you no more you don't require external carbohydrates again. And again, remember, insulin is the hormone that is anti-fat burning, so it inhibits fat burning. Okay, so that means it stores fat, so you grow fat. You cannot lose weight without losing insulin hormone. Okay, so you have to control your carbohydrate intake for you to control insulin, and that will help you lose weight. So basically, those are the factors, or those are the things that happen every after a certain specific period of fasting. So it's high time that what I recommend is, sometimes when you start, you cannot start today and start with 48-hour fast. You start with 16-8, so that you have a 16-hour fasting period. Then you have a gap between meals, and that gap is 8 hours. So that is intermittent fasting. So you eat between 8 hours, a gap between 8 hours of eating, then you have 16 hours of fasting. Then you go on increasing it to 24-hour fast, so that is 1 meal a day. And then after that, you can adapt the 24-hour fasting. So basically, those are the things that happen during those hours of fasting. So embrace fasting. Again, we'll see you in the next video.